Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling entirely lost in your own mind? You frantically replay the spoken words, searching for the exact moment where things went wrong, but all you find is a thick, suffocating fog. You start to wonder if maybe you are the problem. Maybe you did overreact. Maybe you did misremember the details. That quiet, gnawing doubt creeping into your chest is not an accident. It is a carefully laid trap. It is the invisible snare of everyday manipulation, designed to make you question your own sanity while the person pulling the strings watches from the shadows. You are not crazy, and you are not alone in feeling this way. That disorienting spin is the hallmark of a psychological predator at work. This brings us to the most insidious weapon in their arsenal, a tactic so subtle it feels like a slow leak in your reality. It is called gaslighting. Gaslighting does not start with a massive, explosive lie. If it did, you would spot it immediately and walk away. Instead, it begins with tiny, almost imperceptible shifts, a mysteriously misplaced key, a flatly denied conversation, a casual comment that they swear they never said. The manipulator takes your solid ground and turns it into quicksand, grain by grain. They rewrite history with absolute, terrifying confidence, forcing you to rely on their version of events because yours feels increasingly fractured. They will look you dead in the eye and tell you the sky is green until you start checking the window to make sure. By the time you realize what is happening, your internal compass is completely shattered. You no longer trust your own memory, your own feelings, or your own mind, leaving you entirely dependent on the very person who finally broke you. But how did you get to this dark place? How did you become so completely tethered to someone so entirely toxic? You have to understand that the trap was set long before the first cruel word was ever spoken. It began with the setup, a dazzling, intoxicating flood of affection known as love bombing. They did not shower you with praise and attention because they were overwhelmed by your brilliance. That was a highly calculated investment. They were buying your unwavering trust on credit, manufacturing a massive mountain of emotional debt that you would spend the rest of the relationship trying to repay. They flooded your brain with dopamine, turning you into an addict craving that initial high. Once you were hooked, they pulled the plug. The warmth became conditional, doled out in unpredictable scraps. This intermittent reinforcement is the most powerful psychological hook in existence. You stay, enduring the cold, just waiting for that next fleeting scrap of warmth. And then comes the flip. When you finally gather the courage to confront them, to point out the coldness or the lies, the trap springs shut with terrifying speed. This is where the dynamic shifts from passive manipulation to an active, aggressive dismantling of your reality. Psychologists call it DARVO, deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. It is a masterclass in weaponizing your own empathy. You bring up a legitimate grievance, and instantly they deny it ever happened. Before you can even process the sheer audacity of the lie, they are on the attack, launching a brutal barrage of accusations about your flaws, your tone, or your supposed cruelty. They exploit your natural human aversion to conflict, spinning the narrative so violently that the room feels like it is spinning with it. Suddenly, you are no longer the one asking for basic respect. You are the villain. You are the abuser. You are the one begging for forgiveness, apologizing for raising the issue in the first place, desperately trying to soothe the person who just stabbed you in the back. The flip is complete, and the cage is locked. And then comes the silence. It does not arrive like a peaceful pause, but like a heavy, suffocating blanket thrown over your head. The air leaves the room. You are trapped in the quiet, left to choke on the words you are no longer allowed to speak. This is the silent treatment, and it is vital to understand that this is not a passive retreat. It is not someone simply needing space to cool down. It is an active, calculated punishment. It is the deliberate withdrawal of connection, designed to starve you into submission. When they look right through you, when they walk past you as if you are nothing but a ghost haunting your own home, Your brain does not know the difference between this emotional exile and a physical blow. Neuroscience shows us that social rejection activates the exact same neural pathways as a broken bone or a deep burn. Your mind registers the withholding of affection as literal, agonizing physical pain. They know this. Even if they do not know the clinical science, they know the power of their absence. They watch you scramble in the void, desperate for a crumb of acknowledgement, a single glance to prove you still exist. The silence stretches out, hours bleeding into days, heavy and thick. It is an execution of your worth, drawn out in slow motion. They are teaching you a brutal lesson. Your reality, your comfort, and your very existence now depend entirely on their absolute, unspoken permission. Once that unspoken permission is finally granted and the agonizing silence breaks, you might think the punishment is over. It is not. You simply entered the next phase of the maze, the endless chase. You bend over backward to meet their demands, carefully molding yourself to fit their exact specifications. You do exactly what they asked. But the moment you reach the finish line, they pick it up and move it 10 miles down the road. This is the tactic of moving the goalposts. Yesterday, they wanted you to be more ambitious. Today, your ambition is a selfish distraction from the relationship. You fix the flaw they pointed out, only to be told that your fix lacks sincerity. They manufacture a permanent, exhausting state of inadequacy, ensuring that you are always striving, always sweating, and always falling just short of their unattainable approval. You are running on a treadmill that they control, chasing a prize that does not actually exist. But the manipulator does not just rely on your internal exhaustion. They bring in a crowd. Suddenly, the room is no longer just the two of you. This is triangulation, the subtle art of weaponizing invisible third parties to keep you off balance. They drop calculated remarks about a past partner who was so understanding, or a coworker who just gets them in a way you never could. They might even claim that your own friends agree with them, isolating you on an island of their own design. You are competing with ghosts and shadows, fighting a phantom army for the top spot in a hierarchy that they alone dictate. This crowd is a mirage, conjured specifically to erode your confidence and enforce their absolute dominance. By making you feel replaceable, they tighten their grip, forcing you to audition every single day for a role you already won. But once you see the strings, the illusion shatters. You realize that the finish line was never meant to be crossed, and the phantom crowd has no real power. The game is rigged, and your only winning move is to stop running. Stepping off that endless treadmill is the moment everything changes. When you finally stop running, the dust settles, and you are left standing in the quiet aftermath of their psychological theater. This is where the defense begins. You might be looking back at the wreckage right now, feeling a deep, burning shame, wondering how you could have been so blind. How could someone so smart fall for something so incredibly toxic? But listen to me carefully right now. Your entanglement in their web is not a reflection of your intelligence. It is a testament to your humanity. You fell for the illusion because you have a profound, fundamental need for connection, empathy, and shared reality. They weaponized your best qualities, your compassion, your patience, your innate desire to heal. They did not outsmart you. They simply exploited the very things that make you beautifully human. Recognizing this is your armor. Once you strip away the guilt, you can finally see the machinery of their manipulation for what it truly is. It is just a predictable, exhausting pattern, and patterns can be broken. Your power lies in that recognition. Every time they pull away, every time they conjure that phantom crowd, you will no longer see a reflection of your inadequacy. You will see a desperate magician running out of cheap tricks. You have survived the illusion, and you have learned the rules of their rigged game. But what happens when the magician realizes you are no longer watching the show?